So what's my eitzah? What's my advice? So on that the Rebbe Zeichen Su, but the answer to this is Perek Lamed Aleph and Perek Lamed Gimel. What does he say over there? Shlo le'arev u'levalbel simchas ha'nefesh ba'atzmin ha'guf. I have to know what my goof is, I have to know what my nefesh ha'bahamis is. But just like I have a goof and I have a nefesh ha'bahamis, I also have a nefesh ha'lekis. And mitzad the nefesh ha'lekis, even though that my goof and nefesh ha'bahamis might be very disgusting, my nefesh ha'lekis is a chelik elekai mimal mamish. And that I have to attach myself and think and connect myself with the simcha of the nefesh ha'lekis. And that is what simcha is. That's what Rabbi Eliezer was talking about. Don't let the Yetzer Hara, the Nefesh HaBahamis, the Guf convince you that this is what I'm about. I have a Guf and a Nefesh HaBahamis. And I have work with the Guf and the Nefesh HaBahamis. And the work with the Nefesh HaLekis has to try to overcome it. And that's the Nachas Ruach for the Eibishter. The Iskafia Sitracha. And that's how we're mamshich. And I have to relate. So not chas v'sholom that I'm going to be happy that I'm a bal taiva. My happiness is that there is a nefesh elokis, and this nefesh elokis is always ba'omna ita yizbarach. And because of this nefesh elokis, even if Rachmana litzlan somebody is a kal shebekalim, etc., that kalim call him a kal, that he's all the way gone. He's still al pi roiv his moised nafshel Hashem. You know, the ultimate frustration could come. I mean, let's take Tanya over here. Tanya Sefer Shabbat. Beinim is supposed to be Midas Kolod. Supposed to be what everybody is supposed to strive for. The Beinim of Tanya. That every Machshava Dibra Maisa in Echnami you cannot get change and transform the Nefesh HaBahamis. You can't transform the essence of the Nefesh HaBahamis, but the Machshava Dibra Maisa you can control. That's in my control. And that's what everybody is supposed to strive for. That's my goal. It's Midas Kolod. In Tanya itself, Halavai Beini Sho Achas Meshach Yimei Chayev. Berkov Zayin. That if somebody is sad because he has machshavas rois, or that comes to him, he said it comes from gaiva, because you're properly evaluating yourself. And even by a beini, these machshavas, that's his work. These machshavas come to him, these taivas come to him, this fight is there by him. That's what the fight in the beini is all about. And in the face of Shamash Eskoini. And me, halavai beini. So what are you sad about? That's the shlichus that you have over here in this world, to have this darkness, to have this question, to have this taiva, to have this hardship, and overcome it. But there's frustration over here. I'm supposed to strive. Everybody that strives, there's a natural inclination over here. I want to reach the goal. And in Tanya itself it says, Halavai beini sho achas. Meshach, in one moment in your entire lifetime. How in the world am I going to come and get to satisfaction? Over here is also the same point. This is packed in Tanya. Just because I am that what I am with my weaknesses, and I have a fight on my hands, I have to know that the more fight I have in my hands, the more nachas ruach I'm going to bring to the Eibishter if I do what I'm supposed to do, and that is supposed to be my simcha. Am I supposed to just ignore my responsibilities or what I'm supposed to be or where I'm supposed to be just to be able to feel good? Let's take a look. Tanya, the Eitzah, that in Tanya Perek Aleph, right? He starts off. How does he start off Perek Aleph? What is a Rosh? What is a Beinani? So he says, and he brings the Maimah Chazal, Kol mi she'efshar lasik v'tervein ha'oisik, sh'olav dor she'rizali, chorus to chorus, for sure you're a Rosh. For sure. And Chazal say, and it's mentioned also, one of them is Bittul Torah. So he starts off in a Perek Aleph of Tanya. It's for sure called a Rosh. But the Koshkin a Kalvachemer, Rosh is Koshkin a Kalvachemer. And the Chazal say, Ein Adam Nitzel Menu Kol Yom. Where's my simcha supposed to come from? Or how is it that I'm going to be able to strive and go, I'll be frustrated, I won't be able to reach? If I'm looking for my own satisfaction, for my own perfection, there's no answer. If I realize, Lo ani baros is atzmi, I didn't create myself. And the same Eibishter that created Nefesh Elokis, the same Eibishter created also Nefesh HaBahamis. And the same Eibishter, just like he wants Teiv Ba'ilam, he also wants this. One of the ways of transforming this world, there should be a Dir Lo Yisborach B'Tachtoinim, is through Iskafia. That way it comes through me. And then there's something that the Eibishter is going to be mashing, the Eibishter is going to help. There is something that I have to realize that goes way beyond human comprehension. The Simchas HaNefesh, the Nefesh Elokis, the Nachas Ruach Lebeirei, Shamarti V'Nasi Ritzoni. And that's what the Maimah Chassidus brings out, this Reichkeit. Nothing else can bring this out. Nothing else brings it out. It's an approach. But then there's still that little voice in me. But all this frustration, what it's doing to me. And if I can get a quick fix, why shouldn't I get a quick fix? If I can feel good about myself, it's so important. Let me ask you a simple question. Let's make an honest evaluation. In Igeres HaKodesh Simon Chof Hey, he speaks about Kol HaKoyes Ki Lo Eved Avodah Zarah. Because everything that happens in this world happens only from the Eibishter. See, even if somebody, Rachmana litzlan, mamish, was mazik you, damaged you, hurt you, he did something really bad. Not it's a kas amaduma because I imagined something. He taka did bad. Still kol hakoyes ki lo eved avodah zarah. Why? Because nothing happens to me without the Eibishter being geyser. It comes from the Eibishter. That's why you're angry at him, even though that he has a problem with his bchira, and that's why it went through him. But I'm angry not because of what he did, because of himself, because of his aveira. I'm angry because of what happened to me. So that came from the Eibishter. His bonus. And therefore, what happened to me is something that has to do with me. I have to make my own calculation. Why did this happen to me? It has nothing to do with him. And if I get angry at him, that means that I'm not recognizing this truth. And that's why it's Kilo Avodah Zarah. So over here is a simple hisbonenus that when something irritates me for a real good reason, hisbonenus that Tanya gives you of not getting angry. Then in the world there is ways, etc. When a person gets angry, so think into it. Why are you getting angry? For what are you getting angry? Is it real, the anger? Is there a real reason for the anger? Or is it only outside circumstances that are causing your anger? And it makes me realize all at once how I should be able to control my anger. Oh, I finally got an eitzah for my anger. I'm a person that gets angry and irritated very easily. I got an eitzah for my anger. Why does that eitzah help any more than what it says in Tanya? Let's be honest. Let's make an honest evaluation over here. Why is that helping more than what it says in Tanya? So the only difference that I can find is that according to the way it says and the way the world goes about it, etc., so what's happening over there, I have my rights. Except, since I'm a human being, I can make a mistake. I shouldn't have gotten angry. But I still have my rights of getting angry. There's still certain things I can get angry about. When it comes to Tanya, so over here all at once, I'm losing my right. That I don't want to do. Where does that lead to? And where does that go to? When you have something that's built only on what I feel, what I am, my right, my individuality, taking out the denominator that my main essence, my main power, my main identity, my main source of simcha is I have a shlichus from the Eibishter himself. My ultimate level that I can reach is that for the creator of the whole world, I can do something. Kabiyachol. If you don't have that approach, so then Rachmana litzlan, hoyele siyah, if we want to deal with practicality and what be real, or the other words you might want to use, so then Rachmana litzlan, there's a big question over here. Am I not denying the whole basis of the very foundation of what Chassidus is all about? What is the basis, one of the main ikrim that Chassidus came to carry down so that everybody should be able to relate to it, have a certain understanding in it, live with it? The concept of Achdus Havaya. Ein Oid Milvado. And although that there's a world, and it's not a steer to Ein Oid Milvado, because everything the Eibishter created for that purpose that he wanted to create it, and he's not separated from it. And there's Hashgacha Pratis, and nothing happens without the Eibishter wanting it. And this Hashgacha Pratis goes so far, there's siches, that even Rachmana litzlan, when somebody falls, it is also Hashgachas, and you should be able to come to even a higher madriga. Not his B'chir Berach, Chas v'sholom. That's the person's power. So those are from the very fundamental, basic concepts of Emunah that Chassidus teaches us. Over here, we seem to have the ultimate contradiction and frustration possible, although Chassidus speaks about it. But if I have this attitude, I want to be real, and I want to go with what I feel, and I want to have something, so then Olam is Milhelim Behester. Then it's impossible to be able to live with the concept of Ein Oid Milvado, of Hashgacha Pratis, in every single detail and prat. And that I am here, and I am living, and I'm functioning, and I'm doing something only because the Eibush is a Mechayes Kula. And it's giving me Chayes right now. It's a total contradiction to the very basic concept of what Chassidus came to teach the world, of what the Baal Shem Tov came to be Mechadish. And the world is not a separate entity. Although the world is an entity, it's like the Rebbe explains in many Maimorim and Sichos. But still, it's not a separate entity. Because everything has that the chayes of the Eibishter and that purpose which the Eibishter wants it. Even Klip and Sitrach. Kamoshel Azaya, you do it, it's also brought in time. So when somebody goes away, Chas v'Shalom, from the approach of Chassidus, and goes away from this concept that I have a nefesh lekis and I have a shlichus and Eibishter, and that everything has a purpose, and that purpose is I should be able to overcome it. And yes, the Meitzorim and the Gvulim and the Ra, although we don't understand it. The Rebbe once expressed himself by verbringen with Dmoi Sholish about the Holocaust, that he doesn't want to understand it. He doesn't want to bring it down to humans. It should be taka mufrach. But that's not a contradiction to the total emunah that everything comes from the Eibishter. And that the Eibishter has a purpose. And ani hakotanim also within that purpose. Not only ani hakotanim in that purpose, but that letter the Rebbe Yoel read before, where the Rebbe quotes, and this is something that the Rebbe demanded from kids before Bar Mitzvah. That as far as I am concerned, it's b'shvili nivra olam. And the Eibishter is maniach el yonim v'tachtonim, all the higher worlds and all the lower worlds and everything. Umabit all of aboichin kloyis v'leiv, that every single machshava dibra mais is negate him. Together with my nefesh abamis and Yetzirah. Together with my limitations. And that's how I have to look myself. And that's why when I have the opportunity, who am I and what am I? What merit do I have that I should be able to understand? Just to be able to understand these words in Dvar Havaya. What merit do I have? To be able to have a yichud shein yichud digmos and imsa klal. That I can put on tefillin l'shabbat as alev as a moyach. What did I do to earn that? I merited to be a Ben Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, and to be a Yisrael with all the avot that the Eibishter has to Yisrael and gives them this opportunity, and that I can bring about a Nachas Ruach LaKadosh Baruch Hu. So I have to look for another eight. When we're talking about bittul and all this, and that somehow the world doesn't like to understand, doesn't like to accept it so much. I have to be an entity, otherwise how am I going to function? The bittul is the ultimate yesh. Because it's only true yesh, my connection with the Eibishter. Everything else is only a dimyon, even though it's a reality. But the reality of it is only when it functions in the purpose which the Eibishter created it. Let's go back a little bit. When I was a 13, 14-year-old, the Rebbe wrote me, you have a Tanya. I'm sure you have a Mafteach in Yonim, which will make it much easier to find the answers. We didn't have the Biurim of the Rebbe at that time. We didn't have Tanya in Yiddish at that time. We didn't have the Kutesicha 39 Krochim, Teres Menachem, who knows how many Krochim. We didn't have the Memorim of the Rebbe, and we didn't have the Ikros Kodesh, where over there in the Mafteach in Yonim you can find Eitzes, the Chol, Nega, Upega that somebody has in his daily life.